Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Off day podcast here for you guys. Usually I would take a day off with the Yankees, but, I've been intensely hyped since the Padres series or so. And the way the Yankees just took 2 out of 3 from the Mets has got me feeling like this team is starting to come together. And so tonight, we're going to talk about how Juan Soto seems to hate the Mets. I mean, that's been the talk on all of the different news stations today, all the different radio networks. They're all talking Juan Soto and his body language, his sluggish weekend. So I didn't want to comment on it, but honestly, I feel like I have to. Then we're going to dive into the numbers for Plan B and see how Soto stacks up against Goldie, Max Fried, and the suddenly red-hot Cody Bellinger. And then we're going to talk about the mission improvement. We're going to revisit, how Wells, Volpe, and Jason have improved year over year. And then we'll finish off with some voicemails. We have been having, full disclosure, some issues with our voicemail service. I contacted them today. A lot of voicemails just aren't getting through, but we did get a few that came through today. So anyway, I'll get to all that. All right, so let's begin with Juan Soto, who absolutely had a horrible weekend in the Subway Series. All I was reading about today, all I was hearing about on the sports shows is that Juan Soto has lost his swag, that he seems genuinely grumpy about his situation with the Mets. And his body language that we saw this weekend was pretty bad. I mean, it was on par with the body language that Devin Williams showed in his first couple of weeks with the Yankees. We have not seen the Soto shuffle yet, and Mets fans are starting to get on him a little bit. We all saw what happened when Juan Soto decided to sign with the Mets. He was celebrating in his jacuzzi. He seemed really happy about it. But I think in retrospect, he might be having some regrets. Now, I know that right now they have a better record than the Yankees, so it's certainly not about the team not winning. I think the quality of life as a Met is probably just different than it was as a Yankee, right? I mean, Derek Jeter said it best. It's just the Mets. It's just the Mets. But just like Devin Williams had, undeniably bad body language, so does Juan Soto. He was just going through the motions all weekend. He didn't even seem to have the same kind of presence in the batter's box. So maybe now he's realizing, I think, that all that extra money doesn't really make a difference in his life. He was already in the top 1/10 of 1% in terms of earners on planet Earth. And to get all that extra guaranteed money hasn't really changed his life at all, except he's playing for a team that's less important, less storied, gets less attention. And I think he's finding out that having a suite at the stadium doesn't make up for the aura that he has lost when he traded in his stripes for some different stripes. So, in my opinion, he went from being an A-lister on an A-list team to being, on the Mets, which is just not as important in the grand scheme of sports. Maybe he's not getting as many endorsements. We don't know that. We don't know his situation. But it's obvious to me that he didn't seem like the guy that we saw last year. He seems unhappy. And we all saw him celebrating in his jacuzzi when he found out that it was a done deal with the Mets. And in Yankees universe, it was like a neutron despair bomb went off. Yankees fans were devastated. But I told you guys, once the bidding got to $600 million, the Yankees should pass. And ultimately, I am glad that they did. I'm glad they did. Some of you laughed at me. Some of you said that I was tripping balls, smoking that devil's lettuce, whatever. But already, we've seen how spreading similar money out over several players can really improve your team as a whole. The base running is better. The defense is better. The energy is higher. The IQ is higher. And while the Yankees have fallen off a little bit in terms of wins, I think that mostly goes towards the pitching problems, losing Luis Gil and Garrett Cole. It's incredibly difficult to sustain that. If we had both those guys, I think we'd be better than last year, like wins total. So tonight, I'm going to zoom in on Plan B. We're going to look at each of the major acquisitions that the Yankees made this winter in lieu of Juan Soto. We're not going to look at Williams because I think that was going to happen either way. But I'm also going to kind of take a look at the young guys, because part of what we had to make up for in Lost War has to come from the internal guys. So we're going to talk about Dominguez. We're going to talk about Anthony Volpe. No players are perfect. Every player on every team has problems, but we're going to take an honest eval of these guys. Even the best players in the game that we've seen over the last few decades have had issues. Trout was on another planet, but now he can't stay healthy. Ohtani hasn't pitched in over 600 days because his elbow ligament keeps snapping. Judge struggled in the World Series. Every player has problems. No player's perfect. But we're going to do an honest eval. Honest eval. Let's begin with Plan B. So, as you can see, Juan Soto, his numbers actually went down a little bit this weekend. He went 1 for 10, so the WAR dropped. It was at 1.8 before the weekend. It's now 1.7. 246 average, 8 home runs, 379 on-base percentage. I can't remember the last time that I looked at Juan Soto's batting average. His on-base percentage. And it didn't begin with a 4. A 0.4, to be more precise. He's just not getting on base as much. And I think it's weird that he's not doing the swag, the shuffle. Something is definitely up with the guy. And you look at the production we've gotten from the 3 cats that we replaced him with. Paul Goldschmidt hitting .339 with 5 home runs and an .878 OPS, 1.3 WAR. Cody Bellinger hitting .258 now with 7 home runs after the grand slam yesterday. 790 OPS, creeping up towards 800. 1.1 WAR. And he's been phenomenal on defense. He has been a tremendous outfielder. Tremendous. Whether it's great plays to end the game and save the day, or the relay throw he made the other day, just being there to get the relay, after Dominguez couldn't track one down. He's been outstanding defensively, and he's picking it up offensively. We're a little bit less than, 1/3 of the way through the season? A little bit more than 1/4 way. I don't know the exact percentage. I can see him hitting 25 home runs now that he's clicking and hitting 270, 280 with an 800 plus OPS, maybe a 3 or 4 WAR. I think most of us would have signed up for a 4 WAR from him, maybe 4.5. Assuming we're going to keep getting production from Goldschmidt. And what we've gotten from Max Fried has been nothing short of Cy Young caliber. 6-0 with a 1.29 ERA so far. So it's clear to me that Plan B has worked. So far, the WAR total for the two. Plan B has a 4.8 WAR, Juan Soto 1.7. Got to give credit to Cashman. Got to give credit to the front office for pivoting nicely and making it work. Nice job. All right, let's talk about some of the guys who have to improve internally and are improving as we try and, this is part of Plan B too, is the internal part of it. Let's start with Jason.
Should you choose to accept it?
Nobody has been as excited about Jason Dominguez as I have. I have been hyping this kid since I started the channel, since the first time I saw him swing a bat. And now that we're approaching 50 games into his rookie season, I thought it would be a good kind of, mile marker to look at what he's done objectively and think about what his future is. And if it's as exciting as we all thought it would be. Now, you talk about young position players. Everybody gets excited about home runs, and he has some power, 3 home runs in a game the other day. Or the on-base percentage, got a pretty good eye. Or the spectacular exit velocity some of these young guys have. But one thing you don't hear people talk about is just someone who's a good instinctual player. I think he's got great base running instincts. His defensive metrics have not been good, but if you look at him in spring training, you look at him last year, he was completely out of place. It does seem like he's getting a little bit more comfortable out there. Does he make every play? No, but he has gotten better. And he's clearly become more comfortable. And offensively, we're seeing he's very comfortable from the left side. He's good. I mean, he's hitting really well from the left side. From the right side, it's been a little bit more difficult. He has hit some balls harder lately. He did hit the 430-plus foot home run in Sacramento. But one thing you can't teach is athleticism. This guy is an athlete. Youngest Yankees player ever to hit 3 home runs in a game. I still don't have an answer to who was the youngest Yankee player ever to hit home runs from both sides of the plate in the same game. I suspect it might be him. But to me, the biggest deal about him has been how great he's been on the bases. And not that he steals a ton of bases, it's that he runs the bases well, and he's fast. And he, puts it in play, even if it's a slow roller, he's got a chance to beat it out because he gets down the line very quickly. And it's been so long since the Yankees have had good base runners that I think we've kind of forgotten as a fan base what it looks like. We stopped expecting it. Gleyber Torres was one of the worst base runners I've ever seen in my life. Anthony Rizzo was a lousy base runner. Juan Soto was and is a lousy base runner. We've had a lot of guys who cannot run the bases. It sounds so simple, but to state the obvious, when someone is a lousy base runner, it doesn't mean a whole lot if they walk or pick up a single because it's going to take more than that to get them in. Dominguez can make runs with his legs, either by stealing a base, scoring from first on a double. We've seen that before. Yes, the right-handed bats have been a problem statistically, but we've seen improvement there as well. He's hit a lot more balls hard lately. So my assessment of Jason Dominguez is, while he is an unfinished product, I am still very excited about him. And I've been impressed with what he's doing. The last 10 games hitting 286. He's scoring runs. 9 runs scored, 9 RBIs, 10 hits. He's solid. And as a 22-year-old, he's going to get better. The home run totals are going to get better as he becomes a more seasoned and experienced major league hitter. But he's got power. You can't teach power. Maybe you can teach power, but it's difficult to teach the kind of power that he has. And the OPS is hovering around 760 right now. So, when it's all said and done, he's probably a 3 to 4 win player this year. He's at 0.7 so far. And I think that's going to drastically improve as he gets more comfortable, as we see with a lot of young players. We've seen over the last couple of weeks him just getting better and better, feeling more and more comfortable. So I feel good about him, and I think he's going to get better. And we got to comment here about the voicemail. There's an issue with my service, and I'm working on it. We did get a few of them that go through. Unfortunately, there's just a technical glitch right now. I got a call in with the company. It happens. Let's talk about Volpe. Volpe's one of those guys who's easy to underrate, but also easy to get frustrated with. I think a lot of people expected him to have taken a bigger leap from year 1 to year 3. He hasn't taken that big leap yet. He's taking incremental steps forward, I think. But he's still got one of those, those bats that sometimes he looks completely clueless, and sometimes he looks really good. He can go on stretches where he looks great, and then he'll have stretches where he's completely overmatched. That's true of a lot of veterans, too. It's not just Volpe. And honestly, I'd say he's had more so-so games than great ones. I think that he might have even taken a step backwards on defense this year, which is not ideal. But the idea that he's been terrible just isn't true, objectively. Right now, he has a higher batting run value than Gunnar Henderson this year. I'm not saying that's going to last. I don't think anyone thinks it will. But it just goes to show you how misleading the eye test can be when someone's not flashy. His on-base percentage is up 30 points from last year. His OPS is up 88 points from last year. He's still one of the best base runners in baseball by the metrics. His chase rate has been elite. His walk rate is up. His exit velocity, up. So even though I think his defense might have taken a small step back, he's shown me enough that, I feel comfortable that he's going to continue to improve. Not everybody becomes a superstar, but he's been a solid player. And if he keeps trending up, even slowly, he's going to end up being a very valuable player. He's got an OPS of 111 right now. That's 11% better than the league average. That doesn't scream star, but it doesn't scream bust either. It screams solid, useful, reliable. Guy who plays every day, who plays hard every day, who hustles. He's a guy I want on my team. And honestly, you could do a lot worse than that. Let's talk about Austin Wells. Let me get some water. Austin Wells has probably been the guy who, and we got an issue with his camera here. He's probably been the guy who I think has had the least improvement. You know, the power has definitely shown up. 8 home runs and 135 at bats, but he also makes a lot of outs. A lot of outs. And honestly, when offense is supposed to be your calling card, a 273 on base percentage just isn't going to cut it. I get that catchers are harder to evaluate, but when you're not hitting consistently and you're not throwing guys out and you're not exactly quick with the pop time, what exactly are you doing? I mean, his framing has been great, but that's about to be devalued big time next year. So the offensive tools are there. The power is there. His exit velocity is strong, 91 miles an hour. The hard hit rate is solid. Bat speed is in the top 25% of the league. And his power, he's going to crush his power numbers from last year. He had 13 home runs and 414 plate appearances. This year he's got 8 and 154. So he's going to hit 25 home runs. But something about him, the vibe that he gives me offensively, too many swings and misses, too many soft ground outs to second base, too many pop-ups, too many foul balls and 0-2 counts and 1-2 counts. I think the tools are there. But right now the vibe says he is not quite there. So his offense, I think, has value because of the power, but defensively, he's got to do a better job throwing guys out. The framing is fine, but when that becomes devalued, he's got to bring more to the table. Plain and simple. All right, quick word from our sponsor, the Hall of Fame app, and then we'll play the voicemails that we're able to get through with our broken system right now. We have all seen it happen. Someone is one leg away from hitting a massive parlay. Thousands of dollars on the line, and then boom, an unexpected strikeout or garbage time bucket ruins everything. That's the pain of betting on gut feelings. But now there is a smarter way. The Hall of Fame app is built by lifelong fans who also happen to be Ivy League data nerds. It gives you a serious edge. Historical matchup data, leg correction tools, player performance insights, and real-time odds. No more guessing. With a 4.9 App Store rating and over 6,000 five-star reviews, Hall of Fame is already helping thousands of bettors win smarter and not just more often, but more strategically. Right now, our listeners get a 7-day free trial and 50% off your first month when you use the code STRIPE. Download the Hall of Fame app on iOS or Android, enter the code STRIPE, and stop leaving money on the table. All right. So we got a couple of voicemails here. Here's Franklin.
Hey, Derek, this is Franklin Lopez here calling. Quick question. I got a question for you. What your thoughts would be? Let's say for whatever reason Cody decides to not option out, or the Yankees retain him, whatever happens at the end of the season, and somehow they also acquire Kyle Tucker from the free agency. How would you see the infield and outfield being played out or laid out by the Yankees? Because right now the math ain't clicking for me.
That's a great question. If they do decide to sign Kyle Tucker, I think the odd man out is probably, man, that's hard to say. If Bellinger opts out, I think they go get Kyle Tucker. If Bellinger stays, I don't know if they're going to get Kyle Tucker because Bellinger's done such a nice job in the outfield. If they do decide to go get Kyle Tucker, I mean, you could slide Bellinger to first base, but then what do you do with Ben Rice? I mean, does he continue to DH and trade off time with Stanton? I don't know. I mean, he's had a good year, 261, 10 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 372 on base percentage, 888 OPS. I mean, you look at the StatCast numbers, they're ridiculous. Obviously, massive power to right field. He would definitely improve the lineup a little bit, but you know, you're talking $500-600 million. I don't know if the Yankees are going to go there. I don't know if they're going to go there. Not when you've got young talent like they have with Ben Rice, who's smashing the ball from the left side. And you got Bellinger already under a short-term contract. If he stays, I don't know if they're going to go out and get Tucker. I think they might just take their chances and try and add pitching.
Hey, Derek, how's it going? This is Andrew from Grants Pass, Oregon. There's a lot of talk lately about Paul Skeens maybe getting traded. If that did happen, what would you think about Jason Dominguez, Roderick Arias, and maybe a Will Warren and another prospect for Paul Skeens? Would that be enough? Would we have to send more? Could we do it without giving up a George Lombard?
No chance whatsoever. First of all, I don't buy that Paul Skeens is going to get traded. Now, the Pirates are wasting him, but I think there's starting to be some pressure from Major League Baseball on getting this guy to a bigger market because he's going to be one of the premier pitchers in the game for a while. He's just naturally gifted. Unbelievable stuff. 2.44 ERA. You know what? You know how you fix baseball? This just occurred to me. Stop giving the best draft picks to the team that finished last. You know? Maybe give teams that win their division better draft picks, top 10 picks. Right? And then there's incentive to win. You can't just get draft picks by, tanking, and then the better players go to the teams that win in the draft. Paul Skeens, I don't think, is going to get traded. If he does, I don't think the Yankees have enough to get him. I think he would go to somebody like the Red Sox, who have a loaded farm system. Roman Anthony and Christian Campbell, and they all these young guys. I could see him going to the Dodgers because the Dodgers have a loaded farm system and they have endless funds, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. I could see him going, someplace like Texas, where he would fit in. Honestly, I would see him probably going to LA if he becomes available and actually traded. It seems like the type of move they would do. They get everybody, but a lot of their pitching problems lately have kind of hampered them, but they're still having a good year. But I don't see any chance that Paul Skeens gets traded. So don't look for that to happen. But anyway, I just wanted to check in with you guys tonight because there's been a lot of talk about Soto today, and I just thought it was worth digging in and diving in. And obviously, the Plan B working out fantastically, and I wanted to check in on the young guys. But we'll be back tomorrow, pre and post. Probably pre-game show around 4 p.m., post-game show after the game. Yankees taking on the Rangers, and I'll be back with all of it. We'll see you then. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.